practice to stay behind gates. But it's a school. There's a large track area that I'm gonna have to jump the gate to run on, but I'm gonna do it because it influences the children that wanna come work out. But if they see it being done, they're gonna do it. However, if you bar from doing it, then why did y'all build those? And it's amazing, the treatment. It's amazing, no lie. So all the women in the box, I know y'all compassionate. I know y'all think about children, hopefully. I hope y'all think about the development of their minds, their awareness. That's what I want to speak to.
Great, thank you so much. Are there any additional members of the public who care to speak on this item? If there are no further questions or comments regarding the matter before us, I will call this item to a vote.
I have a comment, Chairwoman.
I'm sorry?
I have a comment.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I know you can't see me, but behind you. So my comment is this.
Could you
Yeah.
let people know who you are?
I am Commissioner Leslie Davis. And I am a member of Pilgrim Baptist Church of South Chicago. So I am happy to provide some understanding as to what will happen with this parcel. I'm going to recuse myself from this vote because I'm a member of the church, but I think I would be remiss if I didn't say that Pastor Corin Lassenby Sr. would be happy to have you come to the church and be participating in any of the things that are going on. If you know anything about that church, you know that they hold all kinds of community forums. They hold all kinds of programs for the people in that community. He is a tireless servant for that community. And so I think it's important to speak about all kinds of things, but I think it's important to be very clear about those in the community who are doing the kinds of things that are responsible. And so if you look at any of the work that has been done there and any of the things that he is doing, he is always thinking about minority contractors, women contractors. And so I think it is important to give some credence to the folks who are doing that and not take every opportunity to say that something is wrong, because something is right going on right there at 91st and Burley, and I can speak to that directly. And so that is why I'm doing that. And so it's not to in any way take anything away from anything that anybody has said, but what's right is right. And when you see something going right, you need to bring that up too. And so that is why I bring this to the attention of the body and to the attention of Mr. Blakemore and anybody else who is wondering about that particular parcel of land. You will see contractors who look like the people in that area, and you will see that church uplifting the community. And so I wanted to make sure that that was a part of this record as well.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Davis. Actually, I've closed the public comments part of this and we've moved on. I'll make sure that everyone gets a chance to speak during the course of this meeting. No, thank you. The resolution before us, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to advertise the Department of Planning and Development's intention to enter into a negotiated sale with Pilgrim Baptist Church of South Chicago, Inc., for the disposition of the property located at 9121 South Burley Avenue in the South Chicago Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area, to request alternative proposals and to approve the sale of the property to Pilgrim Baptist Church of South Chicago, Inc., if no responsive alternative proposals are received. Noting Commissioner Davis's abstention, if there are no objections, I move passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chairman.
James.
Thank you.
And please let the record reflect formally that Commissioner Davis is abstaining from voting on this item. Commissioners, for the first item of new business on today's agenda, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to designate BMD 1 LLC as a successful respondent and to reject all other responses to the request for proposals issued by the Department of Planning and Development on behalf of the Chicago Housing Authority on December 31, 2015. Let me say that again, December 31st, 2015 for the redevelopment of property located at 537 through 545 West Oak Street and 993 North Larrabee Street in the Near North Redevelopment Project area, and request authority to negotiate a redevelopment agreement with Oak Larrabee LLC and to recommend to the City Council of the City of Chicago the designation of Oak Larrabee LLC as developer. Anna Booth will provide a brief description on behalf of the Department of Planning and Development.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairwoman Butler and members of the commission. For the record, my name is Anna Booth from the Department of Housing. Joining me today is Vice President of Brenshaw Development, Michael Rome, Regional Vice President of Michael's Development, Greg Olson, Principal of JLL Construction Services, Inc., Jerry Lewis, Director of Development at the CHA, Alam Curry, and the CHA Project Manager, Shabo Lu. As Chairwoman Butler stated, the proposed project before you requests the authority to designate BMD1 LLC as the successful respondent, reject all other responses to a request for proposals issued by the Department of Planning and Development on behalf of the Chicago Housing Authority on December 31st, 2015, for the redevelopment of property located at 537 to 545 West Oak Street, 993 North Larrabee Street in the Near North Redevelopment Project area, and to request authority to negotiate a redevelopment agreement with Oak Larrabee LLC, and to recommend to the City Council of the City of Chicago the designation of Oak Larrabee LLC as developer. On December 8th, 2015, the CDC granted the Department of Planning and Development authority to issue a request for proposal on behalf of the CHA for the development of 3 sites in the Near North Redevelopment area. Proposals for all 3 sites were due back on June 29, 2016. Development teams were chosen for 2 of the sites, and the RFP for the 3rd site was rescinded and will be reissued at a later time. For the Oak and Larrabee site, which is the site I'm presenting today, the specific development goal was to have a 2-phase project consisting of mixed income rental for phase 1 and for-sale condominium townhome combinations for phase 2. A pre-submission conference was held on February 5th, 2016, and final responses were due June 29th, 2016. A total of 6 development teams submitted proposals for the Oak and Larrabee site. An evaluation committee was assembled to review the proposals, and the BMD1 LLC team was chosen as the successful respondent for the development project. Once chosen, the Brenshaw and Michaels team spent time finalizing the master development agreement with the CHA and preparing applications for various funding rounds. Additionally, the team began negotiations with the nonprofit MWBE Cabrini Green Local Advisory Council Community Development Corporation to become co-developers partners of this transaction. The Cabrini Green LAC CDC is a nonprofit entity that was formed in 2005 to provide housing and services to residents of the redeveloped Cabrini Green area. Since inception, they have partnered with real estate development firms and private businesses to assist residents in obtaining training and employment opportunities. Additionally, they actively participate in the Near North Working Group and the Near North Unity Program. Brenshaw Michaels applied in the city's 2019 and 2021 competitive Qualified Allocation Plan funding rounds for financial assistance, but due to the amount of applications received and the limited amount of public funding and tax credits available, they were not chosen to move forward at that time. However, Brenshaw Michaels also applied to the Illinois Housing Development Authority, better known as IDA, and was rewarded 9% low-income housing tax credits and financing from IDA in 2021. Once secured, the team returned to the city for TIF assistance to help construct Oak and Larrabee. So BMD1 LLC, as you've heard me say, is comprised of Brenshaw Development LLC and the Michaels Development Company LLC. Brenshaw has been in business since 1994 and is active in 17 states, currently managing a portfolio that exceeds 11,000 residential units. Their headquarters is located in Evanston, Illinois. The Michaels Development Company was founded in 1963 and has developed mixed income, mixed use structures in 35 states, plus Washington, DC, and the US Virgin Islands, producing over 55,000 units across 425 communities. Although headquartered in New Jersey, the Michaels Company has had Chicago offices and a presence for the past 23 years. Together, Brenshaw and Michaels have completed several projects utilizing city assistance. Clybourne 1200, which is also a near north development at Clybourne and Division Street. West Haven Park, which is the former Henry Horner Apartments. Robert Taylor Homes and Legends South are just to name a few. Each entity has also completed individual transactions utilizing city resources as well. So the ownership structure for Oak and Larrabee is quite lengthy, but I want to point out that Oak Larrabee LLC will be the owner, of which Oak Larrabee Manager LLC will be the managing member. At closing, a to-be-determined entity will be admitted as the investor member. The Oak Larrabee Manager LLC members are the Cabrini Green LAC CDC, Brenshaw PL LLC, and Michaels Chicago Holding Company 2 LLC. All of the LLCs just mentioned are Illinois limited liability companies. Additionally, as with any transaction applying for city assistance, DOH's policy requires a minimum of 3 competitive general contractor bids, which include minority-owned firms. For this transaction, the team secured 6 general contractor bids and is looking to move forward with a joint venture of William Randolph and JLL Construction Services, Inc. William Randolph is a commercial contractor originated in 1958 and has worked on various types of construction, including residential, retail, industrial, and office facilities. JLL Construction Services, Inc. is an MBE firm started in 2008, specializing in, but not limited to, concrete, earthwork, lifts, elevators, and project management and coordination oversight. The architect for this development is Papa George Hames. Papa George Hames was established in 1981 and is known for their collaborative, client-oriented approach to building types. They are well known to DOH and have worked on several of the CHA transformation, mixed income transactions, and other multifamily city assisted transactions as well. So this site is located in the 27th Ward's Near North Community area within the Near North Tax Increment Financing District. The area is also known as Cabrini, and the Near North TIF area is generally bound by North Avenue to the north, Orleans Street to the east, Oak Street to the south, and Larrabee Street to the west. It should be noted that the original Cabrini Green development was built over a 20-year period spanning from Division Street on the north, Halsted Street on the west, Chicago Avenue on the south, and Orleans Street on the east. At the time, it produced 35 housing units, and at its peak was home to 15,000 people. Today, the Francis Cabrini row homes are the only remaining structures of the Cabrini Green development. Past transactions that have received TIF financing includes the CHA Plan 4 phases of Parkside of Old Town, which spans the south side of Division Street from Larrabee on the west to Orleans on the east. Original expansion of Seward Park located at Division in Orleans, the 18th District Police Station, the Jenner Academy of Arts, which is now the Ogden International School of Chicago Jenner campus, and the commercial space northeast of this proposed site, which is anchored by a Jewel food store. Oak and Larrabee is a CHA Plan 4 transaction to be developed on the southeast corner of Larrabee and Oak Streets. The land is all vacant CHA land, and CHA will enter into a long-term ground lease with the developer at closing. This phase will consist of a single 7-story elevator building that will contain 78 mixed income studio, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom rental units, a fitness center, tenant community spaces on the ground and second floors, 39 indoor parking spaces, and 45 indoor bicycle spaces. The main entry will be on Larrabee Street, and access to the parking will be via the public alley, which will be located on the east side of the building. Floors 2 through 7 will house the units. And this is rendering of the second floor that will contain outdoor community space, grill stations, raised flower beds, and small indoor amenity space. The development team has been active in the neighborhood and has met on several occasions with the Near North Working Group, Near North Unity Project, and residents of the community. Additionally, the team has presented updates on the project on several occasions to the above-mentioned committees as well as the community. The total project cost for the phase 1 is a little over 54 million, which will be funded with various sources. TIF assistance in the amount of 14 million represents 26% of the financing and will be used to pay or reimburse the developer for TIF eligible project costs. TIF assistance will come from area-wide increment in the Near North TIF and from projects pins. There will be payments made during construction and at certificate of completion. As mentioned, the team did secure 9% low-income housing tax credits of 1.5 million from IDA, which will generate approximately 13.5 million of equity for the benefit of the transaction. They also secured an IDA mortgage and loan funds of 6,270,000 and 2.3 million respectively. The CHA will provide loan funds of 10,890,000, and IDA, as well as the city, will provide Illinois Affordable Housing Tax Credits, also known as donation tax credits. The tax credits are discounted to 50% of the donated value, and in this transaction, the CHA land lease is viewed as the donation, and 50% of the land value, or 2.1 million, is the amount of donation tax credits to be sold to generate the 1,935,906 of equity for the benefit of the project. A deferred developer fee of 625,000 and 10,100 equity contributions from the developer and sponsor will round out the sources. And then here are just a few more slides of the building. As you're standing on the west side of Larrabee Street, you're looking east where the main entry is on Larrabee Street. Larrabee is the north-south street. Also standing on the west side of Larrabee Street, you see the full frontal of the building. And then standing on the northwest corner, you see the southeast corner of Oak and Larrabee Street. So the proposed project will provide the following public benefits: 78 new mixed income rental units, of which 54 or 69% will rent to CHA public housing and affordable individuals and families. Indoor-outdoor community spaces, raised garden beds, grilling area, fitness center, and approximately 39 off-street parking spaces and 45 indoor bicycle spaces. The development team will achieve enterprise green communities, incorporate environmental friendly features, and comply with all MWBE city residency and prevailing wage requirements. And as mentioned, they will partner and co-develop with the Cabrini Green LAC CDC and produce approximately 100 temporary construction jobs and 2.5 permanent jobs. This proposed project is located in the Near North Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area, and the project conforms to the plan's stated goals and the plan's land use map, which calls for residential, institutional, and commercial redevelopment. Oak Larrabee will also satisfy the following: increase the number of rental units for a variety of income levels that will attract a diverse range of incomes and backgrounds to continue to help foster a cohesive mixed income community and employ project area residents. Based on the foregoing, the Department of Housing respectfully requests that the CDC recommend to the City Council the designation of BMD1 LLC as the successful respondent and to reject all other responses to a request for proposals issued by the Department of Planning and Development on behalf of the Chicago Housing Authority on December 31st, 2015, for the redevelopment of property located at 537 to 545 West Oak Street, 993 North Larrabee Street in the Near North Redevelopment Project area, and to request authority to negotiate a redevelopment agreement with Oak Larrabee LLC, and to recommend to the City Council of the City of Chicago the designation of Oak Larrabee LLC as developer. 27th Ward Alderman Walter Burnett Jr. endorses this action and has provided a support letter, which is attached to your report, and he is present with us today. Additionally, as mentioned, members of the development team. Additionally, as mentioned, members of the development team and representatives from CHA are in attendance to answer any questions you may have regarding this transaction. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. And I'd like just to remind members of the public, we're in a small, intimate room, and I know in city council chambers, sometimes we make remarks and they aren't heard by everyone because we're in a big space, but we're in a small space today. So if I could just ask you to refrain from making comments, it's a bit distracting. And, for the members of the commission, we're here to listen to the presentations and also to listen to you. So if you would just hold your comments, believe me, we will give you an opportunity to speak. But if you would hold your comments until you're given time to speak, that would really be helpful to us. We're trying to give everyone the appropriate attention that they deserve, including members of the city staff. So thank you. And Alderman Burnett has joined us. So thank you for joining us. And I'd love for you to make a statement on the project if you choose.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chairman, and thank you, ladies, especially those of you who's not on the city payroll, for your civic duty. We really appreciate you all. What did y'all do with all the guys, though? That's what I'm wondering. What happened to all the guys? But all the sisters come to work, right? Y'all efficient. Okay, but thank you all very much. So, of course, we extended this TIF so that you all know. We extended this TIF for 10 more years, but we still have a lot more land over there to finish up, and we need to hurry up. So I need help getting CHA to hurry up before the TIF is gone, and then we won't be able to do anything with all of the vacant CHA land that's over there. So this is long overdue. We really appreciate Brenshaw Michaels. They're a great developer. They did a lot of stuff in West Haven. They did a project on Clybourne and Division. Very beautiful project. They got a bank on the first floor. It's a very good mixed income development. And we appreciate the fact that they partner with the residents. Over in this community, the LAC, CDC is partners in the developments. And most of the developments in this community, the people from the neighborhood, my homies from Cabrini Green, are part owners of the properties over there, and they would be part owners of this. And I'm very proud of that for that to be part of my legacy of helping folks that I grew up with to be owners of the property. But also, they're hiring a contractor who's joint venturing with a black contractor, Jerry Lewis. Right there's a black contractor that's joint venturing with William A. Randolph, which is a good contractor. So we're very proud of that, and they're going to be working with the community to make sure they get jobs on it. This is just long overdue. I'm very excited about it. Can't wait to do the groundbreaking. As I told all the aldermen earlier, it's all about groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings, right? And so we just adding another groundbreaking to our repertoire. So I ask for you all to support this. And we need to support this and other projects over here before all the TIF money is gone, and we won't have any public support in order to make these things happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alderman Burnett. No written statements from the public were submitted on this matter. We can now move to questions. Just one moment, members of the public. I note that you all have comments, but I have to give my fellow commissioners, they get to go first. So commissioners, do you have any questions for the Department of Planning and Development, Department of Housing regarding this request?
Madam Chair.
All right, so we're gonna start to my right.
Okay,
Commissioner Gomez.
thank you, Chair. Well, first of all, the Alderman answered one of my questions. I did want to know if there was a contractor already selected. So it's nice to see that there's a minority contractor involved. I did also note So there's going to be approximately about 100 temporary construction jobs, which is great. What is the plan for ensuring that there will be minority contractors, women contractors, specifically diverse contractors on those projects? Is there a game plan? Are you working with Cabrini Green nonprofit for this? Or can you explain a little bit that process?
Sure. Hello, commissioners. Good afternoon. My name is Michael Roan, and I am with Brinshore Michaels. I'm part of the development team. To your question, Commissioner, we are working with the CDC LAC as our partner. They're the 51% owner of the project. We're working with them on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to do local hiring for both MBE, WBE. We know that we need to meet the 26 and 6 requirements of the city. Brinshore Michaels always exceeds that no matter what. As far as Section 3 hiring, we always work with the CDC LAC that we're partner with. We're going to be working with them. We also work with the Alderman's office. We've also hired a consultant, Rachel Ivy, to help us with outreach. So we're well versed and prepared to meet these goals.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Gomez. Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. My questions are twofold. One, is the length of time that is taken from the RFP and now related to getting your sources of funding?
I can speak to that. It is.
So could you?
Oh, yeah. My name is Michael Roan, Brinshore Michaels, part of the development team and owner. It is. We've made multiple applications to the city for our 9% tax credits. I think we did 2 applications to the city, and then one finally to IDA, where we were awarded those tax credits. So it takes time just to get the financing organized and secured, and that is the reason why it took so long.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions, Commissioner Thomas?
No, thank you. He answered both of my questions in one answer. So.
Great, thank you. Commissioner. I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the timeline from now to occupancy?
Sure. So we hope to close.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Introduce yourself.
Michael Roan, Brinshore Development, Brinshore Michaels, developer and owner. So we plan to close hopefully October of 2024, and usually that we're planning on a 19-month construction schedule. So that puts us in mid-2026 for construction completion, and then lease up probably takes about another 6 months from there. So end of 2026 for full lease up.
So just to
But-
note for the record, given the issuance of the RFP and the awarding of the RFP, it's been, Anna, approximately what, an 10-year time horizon from the start to actual residents in the building?
About 8 years.
About 8
to 10
years.
Mhm.
That's significant holding
Mhm.
costs for developers
It is.
during that period of time,
It is.
just from my experience. So we appreciate your perseverance.
Thank you.
If there are no further questions from members of the commission, I would now like to invite members of the public who are in attendance and interested to speak on this item. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. And I thought I saw hands raised, so if there are those who would like to speak. Okay, Mr. Blakemore, we're going to go to you last because I went to you first. Okay, so can we start with the individual? You have your hand raised. If you wouldn't mind standing up and then introducing yourself. Thank you.
My name is Zoe, and I've been coming to these meetings for the last year and a half, and this one is CDC. My issue is the 17th ward. The city knocked down my building. Okay, it was a commercial building with 4 apartments. Okay, my mother has a nonprofit. She got everything that all these people keep coming in. She has nonprofits for veterans. She started asking for the TIF money. All of a sudden, they ain't had no TIF money. Okay, my mother has her own contractors. She has her own architect. She had all of that. My mother been fighting the city to get compensated because they illegally demolished it, which is eminent domain. But because the city of Chicago is so corrupt, they know how to manipulate the Fifth Amendment and say, well, it technically was not the Fifth Amendment because a roadway or a railroad didn't go through. So then there's a law called the Blight Property Act, right? And the Blighted Property Act is if you feel like your property is any type of blighted, you go to the governor. Once you go to the governor has to go to the attorney general, and then they have to eminent domain it, which you still have to compensate the person. So I'm in federal court now, pro se, because you can't find a lawyer to take the case. So I have to be the lawyer on it, and I have to do this research and all this because my mother's 75, and this is what the city does. The city likes to go and find some white developers to go into our communities and go shopping. And then the aldermen like Walter Burnett and people like that get their little kickbacks, and then we have to deal with what we have to deal with. So that's what I'm currently going through. And I have an issue with that because I sit in here for the last year to watch all of these projects coming here when my mother had a project and she did everything correct. Everything correct. That was my generational wealth. So I'm asking you, Ms. Boatwright, because I know you're new, but this is a corrupt city. This is all corrupt. And all they do is continue to pass it down. We are young and we are Black, and we should have our own developers. We should have our own construction companies. All these multi-million-dollar construction companies that come in here, and we get one little developer here and there. I came from Atlanta. I had to come back here to fight the city. And I see all those Black construction companies. What's the city of Chicago? We got to get pennies. That's not fair. So I'm asking someone, I still got my land, but I don't have no building. My mother still got her blueprints. My brother has everything. So what does she have to do to get right here? What she got to do to get right here? We got everything. She's minority. She everything. She got everything. She crossed every check. This is not
Excuse me,
fair.
Zoe, can I ask you to wrap up your comments, please? If you can take a few more seconds.
I'm asking, as Black women, as a Black seniors, for my mother, there's a situation in Chicago with Black properties being taken in our communities, and we can't get any help. So I'm asking to help me, help Miss Jessica, and help plenty of other seniors that'll keep coming in here, and we're coming here for them. We can't get no help. So help us.
Thank you. So for Zoe,
Zoe, Z-O-E
we
and
need your full
L-E-I-G-H. My first name is Zoe, Z-O-E. My last name is L-E-I-G-H.
thank you. All right, I saw that young woman sitting next to you that now has the mic. Would you mind standing up and? Well, you can comment on the next matter. You have 3 minutes for this matter. Yes,
I just wanted to be sure.
no, that's fine. We're here to help
Thank you.
clarify.
My name is Jessica Jackson. And my comment is, it's amazing to see the quickness that these type of redevelopments can go up. When I live on the south side by Lakeshore Drive, and to see all those empty lots and abandoned buildings that have been over there for decades. And I just don't understand how can property go up for plans for things like that this fast, all of a sudden, since we got these quote unquote new arrivals here. these illegal immigrants. Now, all of a sudden, there's an urgency for Chicago to make housing. And all this housing that they talking about putting up is this low income subsidized housing. Where I didn't know until a few minutes ago that William Burnett even could speak. I didn't even know he could talk. Because we're in City Hall all the time, in these meetings all the time, talking about how our property is being taken. The way that I came to know about this is through the probate process when my mother passed in 2016. And she had a building, part of her estate that has been paid for since I was 15. Anybody can look at me and see that's been a long time ago. My mother had no debt. She owed no one, not a credit card, not a medical bill, no past taxes, none of that. None of that. But the probate process through hired estate attorneys come in, cause confusion, bypassed her will because she had an authentic will. Make sure I say that. And jumped her estate into public administration. Now make that make sense. Then I'm looking at a stenographer here that's taking notes in here about to make sure that these developers have things on record about how they're going to get this property and the contracts that's going to be made, and you're going to hold them to it because you got them on record. Whereas probate, there's no stenographers in probate. Come on. So there's no record as to how it is that they steal your property. No record of how these hired estate, keep typing, how these hired estate attorneys, in my case, Attorney David Feldman, can get in the courtroom of an incompetent judge, Judge Terrence McGuire, and lead that judge around by the nose and make him just make a mess of my mother's estate, and to the point where I have to fight. And I have to fight to keep this public administration from straight up stealing my mother's building that's been in our family for 61 years. But I'm looking at how fast this type of stuff can go up. And I've been fighting since 2016 to get this straight with the probate department.
Thank you.
But this can go up in a couple of years.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. There was, I'm sorry. Okay, great. Thank you.
So I'm gonna make this quick.
I'm sorry, could you please introduce yourself,
I,
please?
I am. My
Okay,
name is
great.
Kimberly
Thank you.
Saunders. My grandmother is Mary Saunders. She was, she had a Near South peer group on the South Side. She had a non-for-profit. She used to hold peace treaty meetings for the El Rukers and Dale Vikings. She owned 3 Greystones, which was taken from me through probate, which my lawyer is Mitchell Asher, which is Daley's best friend, and I'm his goddaughter. And he always tell me about the corruption of the city. So I am a person that can bridge some of these gaps with the corruption. For one, I ended up with one of my grandmother's buildings, but the one next door, the alderman, lives there. She took the building through probate, and my godfather lawyer, which is Italian, say, this is what your people do in your community. It's these aldermen and these politicians that have been in office that has tore down our community, that use these they no offense, they put you guys in the middle of the BS, but they've already took all the money out of our community. They've already bought the properties, made the property value go up, lost the value. And right now I'm currently rebuilding Inglewood and I'm turning it to Lincoln Park. I own 3 properties that I paid cash out my pocket. I'm spending my money right now out my pocket to redevelop Inglewood. And I want my people to know that we don't nobody owe us nothing. Now we need to recuperate from some of them drug dealers' money, some of these corrupt politicians, and put that money back in the community. The city don't owe us nothing. We got every community, the Hispanics, the Chinese, everybody got their own mob. Everybody got their own thing. Chicago has been one of the most segregated cities in the world. And that's why we have the problems that we have. And until the Black community pull up by our bootstraps, put our money together. And that's why I'm in the room, because I live over in Atrium Village. I was in the newspaper. I am the reason why they found out Daley disbanded affordable housing in 2008. I ruffled so many feathers because of my name. But if it wasn't because I have the people in the Gold Coast that bag me, some of the richest people, because my kids go to British International. I'm saying all these name dropping, saying that I'm in the rooms with all of everybody. And you know what I see? A bunch of BS. Everybody pointing fingers. Let's start being held accountable for our own communities. And my question is for this Cabrini Green situation, I just want to know how much, because I've been sitting in the meetings with Miss What's her name, Walter Burnett know me. That's why he ran up out of here, because he was in a newspaper with me going against Ani. Then he took $500,000 from Ani. So what side you on, Walter? You got to pick a side. See, that's the problem. And I'm a person that I'm afraid to speak, but the reason why I'm speaking now, because I'm tired and I'm currently running for state rep in my area so I can help my people. And I am a Republican because my grandma was the old Black Democrats. These new Democrats, that's not where we come from. And that's the problem now. We got to clean the slate. Everybody got to say, okay, I done stole all the money. I'm wrong. I done put all the drugs in the community because then nobody tell the drug dealers to sell to our communities. We got to start being held accountable for this and stop pointing the fingers. So my thing with this Cabrini Green, I would love to be a developer. I am a Section 3 vendor. I would love to be a developer on this take. I am a part of affordable housing. I'm big on keeping affordable housing because a person like myself, I'm not a poor Black woman. I had 5 kids. I was a domestic violence survivor. My husband's family is the biggest drug dealers in the city, but I don't have family here, not one blood family. So the city protected me. They put me in this program. And these are the programs that I have to tell my community, no, they didn't put you in a program because you got a million cousins here. But for somebody like me, they have those programs. Yes, but overall, I would just love to make sure that it's balanced out, that not only Black people get the contracts, there's some Indians, some Chinese, because I'm just tired of I love my people, but I'm Choctaw Indian. And I'm going to take that side before I take the American Black, because we don't have no embassy. Just remember that, too.
All right. Thank you so much for your comments. Are there other members of the public who would wish to speak? We have a gentleman over here with his hand up. Let's give him the mic, please. And please introduce yourself. And we're going a bit over the 3 minutes because we have a lighter agenda than usual. But please, if you could keep your comments, everyone that has yet to speak, closer to 3 minutes, that would be really helpful.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Jerry Lewis, and I am a owner of JLL Construction. And there's a lot of negative things that are going around that I'm hearing, and I apologize, and I hate to hear the stories about your parents losing things and losing property. I hate to hear it. My mom's 91 years old, and she's been a resident of this in the city of Chicago all her life. Since she was 16 years old, migrated from the South and raised 5 kids that are not in trouble. They're all graduates from college and work really hard. Over the past 20 years, we've worked very, very hard in the 27th Ward to bring African-American business to large developments. And we've worked with each and every Black contractor in the city of Chicago, and all of them has been a part of the development process throughout the city. Over the past 15 years, I've personally, and some of those guys have personally worked with Brinshaw Michael. And out of the fairness of the other side of the good side of what's been happening over the years, from the time we built the Target right there on Larrabee and Division, there were gang members, gang leaders that were hired on that project. And they all came together and brought individuals from Cabrini Green throughout the city, and they collaborated with each other to make it a successful project. They were also part of the project with that did the massive housing project there, where there was several African Americans that were on that project. With the Related Midwest project, they also hire a great degree. So over the past years and working in the 27th Ward, we put to work over 750 individuals to work on union jobs. And several of those jobs, that Clybourne project with Brinshaw Michaels is one. We've also taken 15 previously incarcerated gang leaders and help them start their own business. And they are the companies that are working on these individual projects, and they are the ones that are hiring from the community to assure that the violence is reduced, that there's, you know, high-paying jobs with the unions. We've sponsored them into the union. So there's a positive side to a lot of those comments that are happening on a day-to-day basis. So I can't condone the negative side because I've always been able to do so. And I think we have a high success ratio. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm going to ask members of the public, please, if you could just be a bit more respectful and not, you know, the public utterances are not really conducive to making this whole process go smoothly. And once again, I know that we typically are in a much larger space. So if you have something you want to say to yourself, it's not, we can't hear it, but we're in a small space here. So let's just be as respectful as we can. Everyone's going to get a chance to speak and say what they need to say. All right. I'm sorry. Who has the mic? Okay, great. Thank you. I know you've spoken before, but if you know the protocol.
Okay, I am TJ Hughes,
Thank you.
resident of the city of Chicago for over 50 years. I'm a senior. I'm 68. This housing is very important to me because my mom was regional administrator for U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. And the fact that, and she grew up in the projects in Florida. I'm a Southern girl, a grits girl raised in the South. So I would like to speak on this particular ward because Alderman Burnett, I remember when he didn't have all this beautiful Cabrini Green area kind of stuff. And he was a different kind, and I wish he was here so I can be telling him to his face. He was a different kind of alderman. He was a person that was really kind of quiet, and he really didn't, he wasn't as obnoxious a little bit now, I would say, as he is, because he didn't have the, what's her name? Jackie, what's her name? Jackie. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. That married the developer and they got all that property over there. Hosting, yeah. She's a friend. But now they got all that beautiful stuff over there. And he's gotten to be kind of a little bit arrogant when it comes to our people. But our people are the ones that actually put him in office. So he needs to take care of our people more so than looking out for these people and these big developers who are coming into the communities, taking the monies out of the community, out of the city, back to the suburbs or wherever they live. And, you know, our people are starving. So I hope that you, when this lady said you had all these, that you wanted to have them to not consider these other people who signed on to do the work. And you, sir, you said that you work with a lot of Black contractors, but I like to get some of those names because I like to talk to them to see what they have to say about what you're saying, because the Black contractors that I'm talking about, that I have been talking to, are very much disappointed and very upset that for them to be here.
Excuse me, Ms. Hughes, 30 more seconds, please.
Okay. We want our contractors to go way beyond 2%. That's the bottom line. This 2% is just totally bull and needs to start from the top, chopping off heads, like my grandmother used to say with snakes. Don't chop them in the middle because they'll go together. Don't chop your tail off because they'll grow another. Chop their heads off so that you can get new people. So I hope that you would consider the fact that it doesn't just start down below. It starts at the top and work its way through.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. Mr. Blakemore, you're going to have the last word. There's a gentleman behind Ms. Hughes that'd like to speak. Sir, thank you for joining us today. If you could introduce yourself and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Hopefully.
Hello, my name is Mr. Michael Flournoy. I'm seeking a lateralship for DNC 2024. And before I go on, I give you a brief orientation. DNC 2024 is not being represented. The guy that they chose, the president chose from South Carolina, has not even been to Chicago. He hasn't done anything or raised any issues. I suspect that one of the characters is Nikki Haley, the ex-governor of South Carolina, where they're from, is got a foot on his neck and saying, no, that's not going to happen. Also, Mike Johnson, the House Speaker from North Carolina, has his foot on his neck. That's not going to happen. Even Tim Scott, a black man, is saying, no, I don't know why they did this. So what I'm suggesting is I'm working with Illinois Intel to develop a program that would give me the opportunity to post myself as the deputy Democratic National Committee chairman and executive director just for a year as a lateral Illinois fellow, White House fellow, and a Democratic fellow. With this, we can put the contract together. I'm saying that the press has failed to report it. I have a situation. Governor J.B. Pritzker can speak on Monday. Mr. Obama can speak on Tuesday. And honoring Mr. Carter, our 39th president, who will be 100 in October, can speak on Wednesday and be celebrated. And then the vice president, Ms. Kamala Harris, can take her nomination on Thursday. And then the president, Joe Biden, can take his nomination on Friday. Okay, all this to say this is what's going to be happening in town in the middle of August when the Congress is closed. There's several people I'm working with, of course, the Black administration, including Danny K. Davis and Tammy Duckworth, Richard Durbin, and Jan Sikorsky.
You have another 30 seconds.
Okay,
Thank you.
regarding the Black construction and my good friend, Vice Mayor Walter Burnett, that Greektown, the near west, what is called River City, since Oprah has developed enormously. They're doing great things. They need a hand. I have a paper I got from Operation Push over the weekend that there is a guy that they gave the Pullman J. Randolph award to that supposedly stabbing him in the back. He's a Mexican guy, engineering, labor problems. The black man is.
Thank
the
you.
last
Thank you
thing
so
they did
much.
Was a civic court.
Thank you
But
so
we're
much
gonna
for your
get there.
comments. Thank you. Mr. Blakemore.
To the gentleman saying that he's a
Mr.
developer.
Blakemore, would you mind please just introducing yourself for
Okay,
purposes
my
of the
name is
record?
George Blakemore, and I'm a concerned citizen. And I have invited some activists to be present. Anyway, this is a game that you're playing, that CHA is playing. That's the federal government land, giving it to private people, rich, white, private developers. But that's right, a game. CHA, the audacity to close down all public housing under the disguise of affordable housing. And then to have a black man, how much money are you putting into that development? How much money? This is this white man's money. So he's going to control the jobs, goods, and the contracts and the service, not you. Not you. So you can play a game, but you can't play a game with me, a black face. We always have the so-called black partnership, but the white man is putting up the money. That's their money, but it's our money. The public housing, that was for us. They're getting out of public housing and now going into affordable housing where white folks can get the wealth. White wealth, black labor. And it's something wrong with black people. Black people that sit in high places and let this go on. You told me, I brought you up here, you told me it was a black developer. You didn't say that when you spoke. And then you say now this white developer got it. This is white folk running this. So don't go there. We got black on these boards. We got black even speaking, but the white man is in control. White power, white lives matter, and the federal government is a part of the doo-doo too. They're getting out of public housing, turning it over to their own people. So it's something wrong here, it's something evil here, but it's American here. America brought us here as slaves. And they are doing exactly what they always do to black people, abuse them. And then they use another black person, say, I had 15 people develop. You can't develop a chicken cook. You don't even have the equipment. You don't even have the finance. You don't even have the knowledge. You don't even have the will. So don't go there with me as a black contractor. Just a placemat. This white man is developing this with all this money. So, Mr. Blakemore, you're over your 3 minutes. I brought you here. You should have made a better presentation. You didn't do what I thought you were going to do. But I got the mic, and thank you. And let us go over here to this next meeting.
Thank you so much, Mr. Blakemore.
This next meeting over here. And we don't need Walter Brother. He's a sellout. Come on, let's go.
If there are no further questions or comments regarding the matter before us, I will call this item to a vote. The resolution before us, the Department of Planning and Development, is seeking authority to designate BMD1 LLC as the successful respondent and to reject all other responses to the request for proposals issued by the Department of Planning and Development on behalf of the Chicago Housing Authority on December 31st, 2015 for the redevelopment of property located at 537 through 545 West Oak Street and 993 North Larrabee Street in the Near North Redevelopment Project area, and to request authority to negotiate a redevelopment agreement with Oak Larrabee LLC, and to recommend to the City Council of the City of Chicago the designation of Oak Larrabee LLC as developer. If there are no objections, I move passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Are there any objections from members of the commission? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Commissioner.
I know y'all don't believe this, but we have to listen to this stuff like 10 times a day, every day. God bless y'all.
Commissioners, for the next item, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a land sale with Gloria Allen for the disposition of the property located at 6337 South Carpenter Street in the Inglewood Neighborhood Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area, and to approve the sale of the property to Gloria Allen. Meg Gustafson will provide a brief description on behalf of the Department of Planning and Development.
Good afternoon. Thanks, everyone. My name, for the record, is Meg Gustafson, Department of Planning and Development. I have two land sales here before you today. This first one's in the 16th Ward. It was part of our Shy Block Builder first round. And it is located at 6337 South Carpenter. I put this slide in here today in case anyone had questions about the Shy Block Builder platform. For my part of Shy Block Builder, I manage the open space. And to submit an application, we have to be in an open application period, which there is one now until I think the end of the week. And then there's going to be one in the fall, but we don't have a date yet. To even be considered and have a full application, you need to submit a budget, maintenance plan for your open space, and some kind of site plan. Also, community support from your neighbors. Once your land sale is approved by City Council, the plan that you submitted must be completed within 1 year of closing. It cannot be sold for at least 5 years. You are responsible for the property taxes, and you must maintain the property. Gloria Allen lives in Inglewood. She owns the lot, one lot over from 6337 South Carpenter Street. It's about 3,000 square feet, and 10% of the value of the land is $1,573, which would be the sale price. Here's the PIN number, and the zoning is RS3. Here's where it's located within the TIF, the red star, location map and zoning map. You can see all the other city-owned land in orange on the zoning map. Here's the plan she submitted. She has already fenced the lot. So she now has an approximate $1,500 budget to execute the rest of her plan, which is to have a passive open space with benches and a lawn. So that is the last slide of my presentation for this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Meg. If present, I would like to invite Alderman Coleman to make a statement on the project. No written statements from the public were submitted on this matter. We can now move to questions. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Meg regarding this request by the Department of Planning and Development?
I have a question.
Commissioner Davis.
So I see the plans for it and that seems fine, but what happens, and I think I ask this question every time because I don't know that I really understand.
Mhm.
So what happens in the event that she's doesn't keep it up, that it gets overwrought and all of that kind of thing? Once it's sold, it just is what it is versus now the city keeps it up, right? Or no, not really? So I guess I just always want to make sure that we're not creating something that is worse. So what's the safeguards for that?
Good question. For the record, Meg Gustafson, Department of Planning. Because she's already demonstrated she's kept up the lot, we feel even more comfortable than we would. But that's not always the case. And I think our fail-safe would be that if you are tax delinquent, it can be sold at a tax sale or bought by the Cook County Land Bank. There is not technically a reverter clause, but if you don't pay your taxes, there are consequences. And I think that's our safeguard for this. And she can't sell it for 5 years, which is sort of the flip side of your question. Could someone be land banking these and not doing anything? And we think 5 years of maintenance is a good amount of time to prove that you're invested in the neighborhood. And then like any other land sale, you should be able to sell your land. If you're selling your house and you want to sell the land next to it, yeah, so that's sort of our policy for that. And all of this is on shyblockbuilder.com. If you want to look up more of the details, there's a facts section.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Thank you.
Commissioner Davis, any additional questions?
No, that's good. Thank you.
If there are no further questions from members of the commission, I would now like to invite members of the public who are in attendance and interested to speak on this item. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, and if you care to speak on this item, please raise your hand so we can get a microphone to you. I don't see any hands raised, so if there are no further questions or comments regarding the matter before us, I will call this item to a vote. The resolution before us, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a land sale with Gloria Allen for the disposition of the property located at 6337 South Carpenter Street in the Inglewood Neighborhood Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area, and to approve the sale of this property to Gloria Allen. If there are no objections, I move passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Are there any objections or abstentions? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Meg, would you like to take the next
Right,
and
yes.
final item? Thank you.
My final item is another open space land sale, 1055 North Harding in the 37th Ward. I forgot to say for the other one, we have support letters for everything that we take through this process.
And Meg, if I could just interrupt you for a moment because I skipped my part.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Sorry. So commissioners, for the next item, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a land sale with Elise Edwards for the disposition of the property located at 1055 North Harding Avenue in the Chicago Central Park Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area, and to approve the sale of the property to Elise Edwards. Meg will now provide a brief description of this opportunity on behalf of the Department of Planning and Development.
Great, thank you. For the record, Meg Gustafson, Department of Planning. This is a land sale to Elise Edwards. She lives directly across the street from this lot. She has Alderman Emma Mitz's support. It is a little bit larger than our usual sites. It's about 9,000 square feet. And the sale price is 10% of value, $3,998. It is zoned RS3. The city acquired it in 1972. Here is the location within the TIF map, the location map, and you can see the size of the site on the zoning map here. Elise plans to fence the lot. And she is, like I said, she lives across the street. She wants to stem the crime in her neighborhood and prevent this as a cut through. She's secured funds from the My Block, My Hood program, and the Alderman's office does small grants for beautification. So she has received about $500 from the Alderman's office. And she has a budget of about $13,000. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. If present, I would like to invite Alderwoman Mitz to make a statement on the project. No written statements from the public were submitted on this matter. We can now move to questions. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Meg regarding this request by the Department of Planning and Development? No questions from members of the commission? Okay, great. Thank you. If there are no further questions, I would now like to invite members of the public who are in attendance and interested to speak on this item. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak? If so, please indicate so by raising your hand and we'll get a mic to you. If there are no further questions or comments regarding this matter before us, I will call this item to a vote. The resolution before us, the Department of Planning and Development is seeking authority to enter into a land sale with Elise Edwards for the disposition of the property located at 1055 North Harding Avenue in the Chicago Central Park Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project area and to approve the sale of the property to Elise Edwards. If there are no objections or abstentions, I move passage of this item by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Are there any objections or abstentions? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Commissioners, that was our last item on today's agenda. If there are no questions or comments, I move to adjourn the May 14th, 2024 meeting of the Community Development Commission by the same roll call vote previously used to establish quorum. Hearing no objections, we are now adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think all the men need to come next time.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
I'm not going to be here in June.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, conference that week. I'll let
And
baby
here
know.
are-
I'll let baby know.
Right. Rachel's not gonna be here in June, and if Michelle reimagine comes, I have to recuse myself from the this. So we gotta work hard to make sure that
That
people
there
are
are
here.
enough people here. Yeah, I will see, but I'm in the conference that week, and there are several things that I'm speaking at. I don't know Tuesday afternoon, so we'll see.
Yeah.